The police have filed fresh charges against human rights lawyer and activist Dele Farotimi at the Federal High Court in Ekiti, alleging cybercrime based on comments made during his online interviews. Recall that the Chief Magistrate Court in Ekiti ordered Farotimi's remand in prison, with his trial set to resume on Tuesday, December 10th. Farotimi had first been accused of defaming Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, Afe Babalola, in his book Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, where he alleges that Babalola influenced the Supreme Court to secure a fraudulent judgment for his clients.
Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Police Command has banned unauthorized gatherings and protests ahead of a planned demonstration by activists demanding Farotimi's release. While the police cited public safety concerns, activists insist the protest will proceed as scheduled on December 10. Well, joining us now is journalist, legal scholar, and the current technical advisor to Ekiti State Governor on Public Communication. We do have Mr. Oguntayo. And I'd also like to welcome on set, who's joining us via video conferencing as well, legal practitioner Toro Oserovoja. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. This is a very, very much talked about case, especially within the four walls of Nigeria and also outside Nigeria. So your participation here would mean a lot to us. Let's start off first looking at the petition. There have been conversations around it is illegal, it is not legal, and how the entire process was brought about, especially how Dele Farotimi was picked up from Lagos across border to another state in Ekiti. Let me start off first with you, Mr. Toro, before I do come back to our guest who's all the way from Ekiti.
Okay, looking at it, if it is legal, and if you look at it from the perspective of what is play now, well, for me, I think there are several things to look at when you talk about defamation as an in civil case and also defamation in criminal matters. You talk about the issue of publication. You discover that oftentimes I ask, where is that book published? That is one. Then two, where does Dele reside is another thing again. Then three, to what extent should the aggrieved party takes it to? And we've also agreed that based on the criminal code of Lagos State, criminal defamation is no longer an offense in Lagos State. And when you talk about defamation, you look at the area in which the book was published, not the area in which the book was published, not where the aggrieved party reside. And second, you need to also consider is where does the offender reside. So if you look at it from this perspective, you discover that I think the procedure adopted by Afe Babalola or the legal team of Afe Babalola and the Nigerian police, I think it is wrong in all perspective of law. It is totally wrong, but that does not leave them without remedy. They have civil suits to pursue in respect of that on that thought. And in that regard, they can also, I believe Lagos is the appropriate place. They need to institute the action. Then when you look at what transpired in court on the day the charge was read, the charge was presented before Dele, you will be surprised that just like I said, that the Ekiti State Judiciary, I don't want to be sarcastic, but I think they need to be commended. They need to be commended in, let me use the word, the commendation can be read in different meaning. Because a charge was filed on the 4th of December, and it was directed to a magistrate. And two, the magistrate take cognizance or take the charge and remanded the defendants in that regard. And if you look at the offense, like I told you, from one section, for count one, is conspiracy. A magistrate to a little level of, they can inquire into even a charge before the defendant is presented before them. Can one person be charged for the offense of conspiracy? That is 7 years. That makes it a felony offense. Then if you look at from count 2 to count 16, those are misdemeanor offenses, which carries penalty less than 3 years and is bailable in nature. Even without the defendant represented by the lawyer, the court ought to grant him bail. Irrespective of whatever, he ought to grant him bail. But remanding him in custody gives another reason to question. But we should not also take away the content of the charge, the statement attributed to Dele. The question is that words are powerful. They can either build us or break us or pull us down. So, and you know, I raise a concern as to Dele, who is a legal practitioner, and if such issues are things that are provable, he knows the appropriate authority. That differentiates a legal practitioner from any social media influencer who just carried a laptop and a ring light. He knows if a lawyer is found wanting professionally, we have the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee. He can raise such a concern too. Then if a judge, even to the Supreme Court, is found wanting, we also have the NJC that deals with the conduct of judicial officers. So did he really take those procedures? Then another thing again is that we should also look at this, the sanctity of the judicial institution, because he's bringing in all the Supreme Court, which is the apex court of the custodian of justice in disputes, and the ministers therein, which is the masquerade therein in justice. So these are issues that need to be substantiated. But the procedure in question now is what is the procedure adopted by the aggrieved party is what is of concern to Nigerians.
Now, just to clarify, you've mentioned, you know, the options that are available to, or that were available to Farotimi before he you know, I don't know if you mentioned that those options should have been explored before he published the book. I just need you to clarify on that.
That is a question that needs to be clarified, because I just got a copy of the book, so I've been flipping through it, and I've not seen where he identified that those information, or when he got those information, whether step he has taken as a legal practitioner. I will emphasize that as a legal practitioner, because the concept, let me clear one thing, the concept of activism has been so abused, and the concept of comradeship has been so abused by so many people. I'm not saying he abused it, but I've never seen where he mentioned that those procedures has been taken. But he knows what he knows, and if the appropriate procedures are taken, I think he can defend himself. You know, he who asserts must prove. So for Afe Babalola, who said he has been defamed, will prove that in court, in this criminal procedure, which I believe there is nothing of that in law that can hold such a charge.
All right. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Let's now bring in Mr. Oguntayo into the conversation. Ekiti State has been in the spotlight now, and it does seem that the mind of the population, a number of them have been turned against Ekiti State because of how this matter was handled. First, the fact that he was taken from Lagos State to Ekiti State, and the arrest was effected there, and he's been detained there. There have been calls for a strike, a protest as well, even though Ekiti State has, the police have announced that unauthorized gatherings will not be allowed. So talk to us about, the perspective. Is there a different perspective that Ekiti State has to the conversation that the rest of those who are speaking up against it do not have?
Yes, thank you very much. Before going into the real discussion, let me quickly put this clarification. The technical advisor to Governor of Ekiti State, but I am not speaking in my official capacity as technical advisor to the Governor of Ekiti State. I want to talk personally because the issue has nothing to do with the government of Ekiti State. It has to do with Chief Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi. So I'm speaking in my personal capacity, right? Having said that, I think, again, it will be prejudicial for me or for anyone to be talking about the details of the correctness or inaccuracy of the judicial, the court handling the matter, because I won't be here to be saying, well, the court is right to have put him on trial or whatever. But personally, I believe that in this matter, there are two lawyers involved, Chief Afe Babalola and Mr. Dele Farotimi. And now, Dele Farotimi wrote something against, Afe Babalola believed that he wrote against him, having read it, and several part of the publication was, publicized. It was publicized there and there, where Chief Afe Babalola took exception to, where he was mentioning that Afe Babalola was corrupt or is corrupt and his members of staff and so on and so forth. Now, let us start from the angle of maybe police shouldn't have come from Ekiti. Police shouldn't have done this and that. People are making a lot of mistakes. What if you are saying police shouldn't have come from Ekiti? What are we talking about? Are we saying that it is the Ekiti State Police that went to Lagos to arrest Dele Farotimi? No, it is the Nigeria Police Force that they came all the way from Ekiti. They have their normal way of their normal operational method. If they are going to, if for instance, somebody is found wanting and they are coming to Ekiti to arrest him from Lagos or anywhere, it is normal for the police command in Ekiti to intimate the police command in Lagos that somebody will be arrested. And when the police gets to Lagos, the police from Ekiti get to Lagos, they first of all go to the police command in Lagos. So the issue of why should police come from Ekiti? Why should, at several occasions, there are times that somebody will be wanted in any part of the country. Police from another place can go there. They have their operational method. They go and inform the police there. That is on the issue of police. It is not about Ekiti State Police or Lagos State Police. It's about Nigeria Police Force. And when there is an instruction to get somebody, more so that the person who is reporting the matter reports here that, okay, something happened to him. And we are talking about, I had the lawyer that first spoke mentioning that where was the book published. It's not about where the book was published. It's not just about where the book was published. It's about where the book was published, where the book is being sold, and where the book is being read. If you are publishing a book, it's not meant for Lagos alone. When we talk of where the book is published, it is when you are talking about copyright infringement. Maybe you pirate a book, you can now go to effect arrest or to stop production where the book is published, at Tompila or whatever. But when you talk of the book, where was it meant for? Where is it being read? All these are being put in place. And when you look at the charge sheet, I read something like that, where the part of his can charges was that the book is being read in Ekiti, where the defendant, the nominal complainant resides. So people are just looking at this issue from the angle of, and some people are saying it's not libel, it's not a criminal offense in Lagos. It is a criminal offense in Ekiti. Let them go and read it. Because you initially said you had that it's not a criminal offense in Ekiti. It is. And don't forget that the issue of jurisdiction, like the lawyer just mentioned, that listen, you look at the territorial jurisdiction, the guy is there. If you say they can't arrest Dele in Lagos.
Mr. Ogutayo, permit me to butt in, please. Sorry for cutting into your conversation. You said it is a criminal offense in Ekiti. Can you help us with where that can be found? Because we do recall that the criminal law was indeed replaced 2021. It was replaced in 2021, that of 2012. And many have gone through that, and they still cannot find anywhere where there's a criminal libel. And I hope you're also aware that the police have decided to trump up new charges. In other words, knowing that it is a magistrate court, which is the Attorney General of the state, that can handle the case, and it is bailable, as is also written in the Ekiti state criminal law. It is bailable, but in this case, Dele Farotimi has not been given or granted bail. He's still locked up. So can you break it down for us how it is a criminal
You
case.
don't want me to
Go ahead.
walk my camera if you don't want me to talk. Excuse me.
No, I'm just asking a question. You just...
I didn't interrupt you. Let me finish
Go ahead.
what I want to say. After you can come in. It's unethical. If having spoken, I'm called to talk, and you are interrupting. Even when you ask a question, you want to know where criminal offense is, where label is a criminal offense in Ekiti. You are coming up again to say that it's a bailable offense, this is that. Meaning that you are adding to what you have said earlier on. I have not mentioned the issue of either bailable or not bailable. If there is anything, I don't think it is proper to just cut me off and you start making...
Mr. Gutayo, I sincerely apologize for cutting you off, but I'm aware that you are also a journalist, and you made a sentence which I would like our viewers to really understand, hence why I did that. I apologize. Please go ahead.
Whether what I'm saying is right or wrong, you let me finish. I don't know whether it is the lawyer, the anchorman that is interrupting me. Whatever you want to say, after I've landed, or what I'm saying is irrelevant, is out of point, is senseless, let me make my point. And that is it. But coming in, are you now saying everything you just said when
Please go ahead.
Was correct?
Mr. Gutayo, we apologize. I mean, he wanted you to give context, is why he added that. So if you may please help with, the context that he's provided to help you, give a broader perspective to the answer that you're giving.
So, as a matter of fact, my own personal opinion, like I just told you, is that someone was arrested in Lagos or that somebody is on trial. It is not something that you now come up to say it is wrong of him being tried. You don't commit an offense and you say, okay, you cannot be tried. That is my personal view. The moment the thing is in court, let the other party or let whosoever is sympathetic to Dele Farotimi's cause come to court to say, okay, yes, this court in Ekiti, magistrate court, has no jurisdiction to try the matter. And the matter will be, if it doesn't have jurisdiction, it will be taken and the matter will be struck out. It's not about whether this or that. The man that felt defamed, Chief Afe Babalola, reported the matter and Dele was picked up. If you want to go into rhetoric of whether the man is right or the man is wrong, I think the court of law is there. Somebody felt offended, he went to court, they get him arrested. Another person can say, okay, the court they took him to does not have jurisdiction, they go there. But like I told you, I won't go into whether the court is right or not right, because like I just said, it is prejudicial. Simple. If you want us to talk about
okay. Anyway, I think we seem to have a little glitch with
seems that there's
network right there. But anyway,
I think we'll bring in Mr. Osoro as well to maybe react to that and also speak to the fact that there have been calls for, or there have been the police has made statements inferring that they would not approve of unauthorized gatherings, even though there have been calls for a protest, tomorrow being the 10th of December. So if you can react to what our guest had spoken about, as well as speak to the possibility of a strike, the legality or otherwise of same.
Okay, first, let me just react to the issue of the misconception of defamation he made mention of. I'll first of all say that when you talk about label in defamation, it's publication. Publication, and I will emphasize that publication is essential when it comes to issue of defamation. And obviously, that is an area I did my research on. Then, outside that, you have to do with the location also matters. It's not about the reading. It's not about the reading. It's about the publication. Where does the publication take place? The location in which the publication took place. Then the other aspect of it, which is a primary element every lawyer should know, even in 100 level, is where does the defendant reside? It's another issue for question. Then on the issue of legality or not, you could see that why the police filed the charge on the 4th. If you listen to the interview granted by the CPO of Ekiti State, He was talking about cyber sticking, why they file a charge in defamation. So it's as a result of you could see that there is no proper investigation of the process before it is being filed. That is their own administrative fault on it. It's left for the court to determine. Then the issue of the new charge filed again on cyber sticking, which is brought under section the new charge filed before the Federal High Court. Well, this is where I begin to fault the administration of the police and how the police investigate issue. That one, where the cybercrime prevention act has been amended, and it was amended this year, and under section 24, subsection 2, subsection C, which is being brought under, definitely it has been amended. It's no longer 2015, but rather 2014. And I think from the quote I've seen thus far, it ought to be brought under section 24, subsection 2, paragraph C of that amended law. So you could see that the police, they are enlarged, and it questions their legal capacity in handling issues. So, and I believe that we should be looking at the institution, the Nigerian police, when it comes to conflict in Nigeria judicial system. That is for that. Then for the police to make such an entrance to say that they ban any protest, it is far beyond their rights. Under section 40 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it gives power to the CTC for peaceful and lawful assembly. And I would say this, a protest is different from riots. So the police should get this right. People say they are coming out for a protest. The duty of the police at this point is to provide security, not to stop them from protesting. And the police get it wrong. And the Court of Appeal, their pretorial authority, you don't even need the police permission to do such a gathering. You don't even need the police notice. You don't need their permission. As a matter of fact, if intelligence provide that, okay, there is a protest, a peaceful protest, what the police should do is to what? Provide a security cover for the protestant and for the society, and not to stop them. And I think the police is far beyond, I think the statement accredited to the police is far beyond their power, and is something every Nigerian should be worried about.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. I don't know, okay, we have our guests back. Do you have any final thoughts, Mr. Oguntayo, as we wrap up the conversation? I know that the network interrupted your train of thought earlier.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any issue with any protest. Anybody is free to protest. And I'm not, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware the police is saying they should not protest. The only thing which I think the police said is that they don't want any violent protest. And normally, when anybody is having peaceful protests, police will provide security both for the protesters and for the public, the general public, so that the protest doesn't go violent. So for me, I'm not against protest. But the issue, like I said earlier on, I'm not going into whether the details of the matter. I won't go into that, because any lawyer knows that it is prejudicial to say a matter in court that court is they shouldn't try it or whatever. If anybody has anything against it, you can go to court. All these sections you are quoting or you want me to quote, you can go and quote it in court. You can go and say, yes, this matter shouldn't be tried here. The man should not be tried in that court. I don't have any issue against that. But as far as I'm concerned, one, the issue of protest, everybody is free to protest, and the security and the police should also provide security for the protesters and for the public. While I also believe that Dele Farotimi is a lawyer, Afe Babalola is a lawyer. If Afe Babalola feels defamed, whether what he has done is right or not, let Dele Farotimi or the other parties that are sympathetic to him, let them go to court to go and prove Afe Babalola wrong. That, okay, you cannot arrest him in Lagos, you cannot charge him for so offense. It's not libel, it's not a criminal offense, or it is right. The publication, it is where it's published. Go, all that is okay by me. All right. So far, so good. Go into anything that is prejudicial. Thank you.
Oguntayo, I beg your pardon, and Towo Oseruwoja, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. We'll continue to follow it, and I'm sure that tomorrow we'll have solid updates after his bail hearing. The bail application has been heard in court. Thank you for your time.